All right, thanks, Coach. EA Sports coverage of the National Football League is on the air. They do it big here in Houston, and a second ago it was a Texas-sized welcome for their hometown guys. They're fired up and ready to go as they get set to match up with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Here we go. The final week of the NFL season. Week 17 is underway. Here comes Bruce Ellington on the return. And a pretty good return here. He'll be stopped just shy of the 25 at the 24-yard line. Now a first carry for Deontay Foreman, who was lost to the Achilles injury last year. And able to stay on his feet past the 30 to about the 33-yard line. 9 yards is the pickup there, and they'll have a 2nd and 1. Flag comes in. This might be a free play. That's caught by Howard. And he'll bring it up here to right at the 40-yard line. So offside's the call, and they understandably decline it.
And this is why we're seeing more and more teams hiring that one coach to the staff that's in charge of all these things. This one's minor. It's pretty easy to figure out. But all the game management stuff, trying to help out the head coach in his decision-making process.
Watson on first down. Almost able to intercept it. That's one he would have liked to have held on to on this first drive. Instead, 2nd down.
And that's one he's got to be happy to have back. There wasn't a hole open in the zone.
You'd have to think on early downs like that first down there, need to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, fortunately for him, got a couple more downs to play with.
Watson hands this to Foreman. And he's going to build his way forward to the 48. A nice job to get 8 there after the incompletion, and now they'll look at a 3rd and 2 coming up.
Well, I think that's what they're going to need to do here in the first half. You've got to take some pressure off of this young quarterback, and no better way to do it than to establish the running game early.
3rd and 2, Watson, and that is incomplete.
You hear the calls for a penalty, but I just don't think so. I think in this situation, the defender was making sure his guy couldn't hold on to the football. So I don't see anything that warranted a flag.
No, I'm with you. There was contact, but I'm happy they kept that flag in the back pocket. Bortles leads the Jags up 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. Now Bortles on the bootleg. And they didn't wait long to take a shot there, that's for sure, but it falls incomplete, and it's 2nd down.
When defenses get to the quarterback that quickly, a lot of times it's called a jailbreak. It wasn't quite that fast, but fast enough that he had no time to look downfield and set himself to throw the ball. And as he tried to do that, he was hit, and it forced an incompletion.
After the incompletion, here's 2nd and 10 from the 20. There's Leonard Fournette, 1,000-yard rusher from a year ago. And he'll get this up over the 25 to the 26. And now we'll get a timeout. Looks like we've got a Jaguar and some discomfort down there on the field. And in Week 17, let's hope this won't affect him for the playoffs. We'll step aside. From the gun on 3rd down, Bortles. And he finds Safarian-Jenkins. And he's got the first down, yardage before being taken down at midfield. That one goes for 24 yards.
They've got good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know what happened last week to really hurt their performance and hold down their production, but I would dare say that this week in practice, there's a lot of talk about how they're going to increase their proficiency.
And that was a good start getting the playmakers involved. You mentioned that to me pregame. That's what they did there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think the coaching staff really gets on them, and that's how they motivate them. Most of these guys are self-motivated. They have a lot of pride in their performance.
And he'll take it down shy of the 45 at the 46. It'll be a gain of 4, and that'll bring up second down.
And the big guy catches the ball out of the backfield, and oftentimes that's quite a surprise to the guys playing defense because not ordinarily thought as a pass catcher, it often works when they decide to dial it up.
4 yards on that last completion, so that sets up 2nd and 6. They'll run it now out of the gun. And a pretty big hole as he's down to about the 40. It's a 6-yard run, leaves him with about a foot or so here still to go to hit the marker with 3rd down coming up.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
Could be 4-down territory even if they don't get this, but they need just a few inches here on 3rd. And they'll try the ground game here with the running back. And he's got the first before he's brought down at the 39-yard line. So they will accept the penalty and move forward. Good work that time to get him to jump, and now here's 1st and 10. And on the ground they go with the running back. And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. 5 yards is the tally on 1st down. That brings up 2nd and 5.
All right, Brandon, I know we're in the early going here, but those kind of runs, they're going to open up a world of opportunities for this offense going forward.
They'll run it now out of the gun. Room here to run. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. 11 yards there for Jacksonville and a 1st down as well. Quite the opening drive march they're on right now.
It looks a lot like what we saw in practice prior to the game, doesn't it? You know, because on that last big practice beforehand, you go through your offensive script. You go through your play calling. You go through all the stuff and establish things. And it looks like it's going like clockwork right now for them.
380! 380!
Into the red zone, it's Bortles. Under pressure, and he'll go down. Back at the 26-yard line. DJ Reader. He's the one to get him, and that's sack number 7 for him on the year. Protection certainly going to need to be a bit better here on 2nd and 16. Shotgun now for Bortles. Over the middle, hauled in by Sharp. And on this one, he'll get to the 15, right at the 15-yard line. They'll wind up getting 10 back as that sets him up for 3rd down.
Barney sold the go route really well. Thought he was going deep, then curled it back inside for a nice completion.
DBs love when they pump the brakes, don't they?
Yeah, that's really a whole lot of fun. It's almost like you said, listen, if you're going to sell the go, just go, and let's see who's faster.
Punch right, punch right, punch right. 380! 380!
Throwing his Bortles on 3rd down. The open man is Sharp. It's complete. And he gets the 1st down yardage he needs before he's brought down at the 6. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal. They'll try and run for it on 1st and goal. And he gets him a little bit closer. He takes it from the 6 inside the 5 to the 4. Be interesting to see now what they do offensively down near the goal line after not much there that time.
As the offensive play caller, that may change your sequence now. Instead of coming right back with a running play, you may have to go to the air.
2nd and goal from inside the 5.
Green 80. Green 80. Green set.
Working from the gun, it's Bortles. And that is caught. Touchdown, Jacksonville. As his guys are in for 6. And the Jags have taken the early lead. Well, that's about as quick of a passing touchdown as you'll ever see right there.
Everyone has a section in their playbook called the quick game. That was the super quick game. Out of the hands of the thrower, bam, right to the receiver, successfully for a touchdown.
How in-depth is that quick game part of the playbook?
It's pretty in-depth because people want the ball in the hands of the quarterback into the playmaker's hands downfield as fast as possible. There are a lot of plays, a lot of options involved with that.
Yeah, and he'll get it up across the 20 to the 21-yard line. And now out comes Houston. And partner, just looking at some of the struggles they've had this season, the playoffs are not in their future. As they start to peer toward the offseason, what moves might they make?
I think the running back position, and I know we talk all the time about the NFL being a passing league, but the teams that run the ball effectively, they're the ones that go deep into the playoffs and go to the Super Bowl. They have to upgrade here. And you and I both know in recent years in the draft, people have shied away from taking a runner early, but there's that special one there. I say they go get him.
Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. Now Foreman. And he'll take this one for about 4 up to the 40.
One thing to keep in mind, partner, especially in the second half, when you've got a running back of this size, of these dimensions, I can just tell you, attrition does set in for a defense because you're excited about hitting him in the first half. Maybe not so much in the second half, and some of these shorter gains turn into bigger runs later.
He'll take this from the 40 up to the 45 for a gain of 5.
And there's a run to be happy with. Good, solid yardage. He'll take that anytime you hand the ball to a back.
Watson to throw on 3rd and 1. And this is going to be incomplete.
I think the punter might start to get into a pretty good rhythm here if he keeps getting opportunities. But that's the last thing his team wants to have happen, right? The last thing you want to see is your punter feeling pretty good because he's out there all the time.
Yeah, first quarter only, but they're 0 for 2 on 3rd down conversions to start this thing. Here comes the Jaguars offense as they get set to go again. They'll be looking to duplicate that first drive, the one that got them that 7-0 lead.
Of course they would. I mean, look, they're on the road. So getting the 7-0 lead was huge for them, right? Imagine getting up 2 touchdowns on the road, taking the crowd out of the game. It'd be ideal.
Now a handoff looking right. And he'll get only a couple up to the 22.
Well, we saw him there trying to get it to the outside, trying to get to the perimeter, but not a whole lot of room there. But there's got to be one positive to that. If you keep moving laterally, creases tend to develop as the game moves on, and they can run it back inside later.
From the 22, here's 2nd and 8. Alongside the former defensive back, Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Go.
Here we go.
On 2nd down, here's Bortles. Looking for Moncrief, and it's intercepted. Vernon Hargraves with a pick. And his guys are going to take over at their own 48-yard line. Watson will bring up the Texans here, 1st and 10. Just shy of midfield at the 48.
Black 22! Black 22!
A run by Foreman to start the drive. And he's going to be taken down here with a penalty flag on the field. So this will be accepted as it moves the offense backwards. Watson. He's got his tight end over the middle, O.J. Howard. And he'll be brought down at the 48-yard line. Give him 9 there on the first down completion.
They gave up the completion there, but this is what zone defenses count on. Catching the ball and not much run after the catch.
Here's Watson now on second down. A nice little juke, and he'll get it down to the 47 here. Just a 1-yard pickup on the play, and they're going to face a third down. And on third down, a nickel formation here defensively. Now it's Watson. That's caught by his tight end, Jordan Akins. And he's got the first before he's brought down at the 39-yard line. First target, first catch, and a first down. So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. A carry for Foreman. And he'll be brought down, losing yardage back at the 40. It's a loss of a yard there, and now second down. You mentioned very early on the need to establish a running game for this young QB. They really haven't been able to do that, though, in the first half.
So that means what in halftime? Adjustments time, right? Figure out what they are, figure out the things that they really want to accomplish, and who to run behind. Which are your better blockers? Find those guys and get in that direction.
And he's going to have to eat this one as down he goes. Yannick Ngakoue in there to bring him down, and that is sack number 17 for him now on the year. Going to need something special here on 3rd and long after that sack. What does Watson have in his arsenal? Here's Watson. He's got his man on the crossing route. And he'll go down shy of the 40 at the 41. The completion good for only 6, and that'll bring up 4th. The Texans send the punter out as he's on here to punt it away. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. Now comes Jacksonville as they get ready to go. And last time, 1-play interception. So this offense, they should be fresh.
That's a good way of putting it. And I can't wait to see what they decide to do with play calling. Because a 1-play drive where you throw an interception, a lot of people think the very next time out, run the football, don't give them a chance.
Maybe play action?
I think maybe you go play action, show your quarterback, get a little confidence in him, and let him fling another one.
They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. The former #1 overall pick, Jadeveon Clowney, in there to bring him down, and that is sack number 17 for him now on the year. Work to be done here on 2nd and 16 after the sack. They'll run it now out of the gun. And they'll bring him down at the 27-yard line. 13 yards on the pickup, and that'll make it 3rd down.
It seemed like the situation was 2nd and a mile to go for a first down, which screams what? Throw the football. You got to pass in order to try and pick up that kind of yardage. But in this case, they ran a tendency breaker because the tendency is for defenses to be out there and be set up for a pass. So you break tendency and actually run the football. That changes everything because if you're able to find a crease, you often have bigger guys working against smaller guys downfield. They picked up excellent yardage there to bring up a 3rd down.
Bortles going to try and throw on third down. Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete.
Not only was the call spot on, how about the execution of that defense right there? The zone was absolutely locked up tight. He was trying to force it in there on third down.
But if there's a time to force it, he felt like he needed to make a play, right?
Yeah, exactly right. Third down, you got to try and find something. There's nothing available there for him.
The Texans offense now, they get set to head back on the field here. The results for them so far, not that great. Well, not good at all. 3 drives, 3 punts.
Yeah, and now what you're doing is you're looking at your play sheet. You're trying to figure out what you're going against defensively. I wonder, are they showing them something they haven't seen or anticipated in practice, and maybe that's throwing them off? Or do they just have to go to a different play calling section and try and run some offense that way?
The drive starts with Foreman on the ground, and he'll go down after losing yardage at the 10. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be second down.
Well, you had to punt on your first drive, and on the first play of the second drive, you end up going backwards. I would dare say they need something good to happen right here, right now.
Under 4 to go now as the clock runs, and they come up on second down. They'll fake the handoff. Now Watson. Over the middle, and it's incomplete. Will Fuller was the intended target. Third down here.
It's been my observation there's been a nice variety of play calling defensively. You and I often talk about an offense's ability to keep a defense off balance with what they're doing. I think the converse has been true in this game.
Yeah, I think you're right. They seem to have gone off tendency quite a bit, but only the second quarter, a lot of time to change things. Back to throw, Watson. Incomplete. He had his hands on it but couldn't pick it. But it's now fourth down. Well, they've had a pretty frustrating first half here offensively, and that just continued there with that incompletion.
Yeah, definitely frustrating for them, but heartening for the other guys. Those stop troops, they're enjoying things right now because they've made it very difficult for them throughout the half.
Wow, evasive.
Make a miss.
A good return there. Call it 13 yards. Now the Jags will have great field position to start this drive as they take over on the short side of the field. And now out come the Jags. They were forced to punt last time, and I doubt sincerely that they'll have to punt here because they're gifted with terrific field position.
I don't even want to think about the idea that they would end up punting starting with this type of field position. Neither do they. Great starting spot, great opportunity to run your full playbook. They want to take a shot here, they can go ahead and do it.
They're throwing to start the drive, but that one incomplete.
I know our vantage point might be a little bit better way up here, but that looked like an ill-advised throw to me. I didn't see anything open, and this play just didn't look right from the beginning.
It did not. I thought he might get outside and just chuck it away. Dangerous pass, incomplete. An incomplete pass on first down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. Bortles steps away to his left. And a big loss here as he's taken down. Christian Covington able to get in and run him down for a loss of 14. Following the sack, 3rd and long for Bortles and the Jags.
Green 80. Green 80. Green good.
From the gun, it's Bortles. And he's going to go down again. Jadeveon Clowney in there to get him. And that's sack number 18 for him on the year. And the Jaguars send out their punter as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. He steps into this one, and this is a rocket. And this is going to hit the goal line and continue on into the end zone for a touchback. Out comes the Houston offense as they get set to take over here. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
Now, meanwhile, a pass that should have been intercepted, but it winds up falling incomplete. Again from the 20 after the incompletion. Here's 2nd and 10. Here's Foreman. And he'll be brought down right at the 30 here. It'll be a pickup of 10 yards. And that's going to make it third down and less than a yard. These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on third down. 2 minutes remain here in the first half. We're back to Houston after this timeout.
Richmond. 2-jet.
They'll run it now out of the gun. It's a gain of 3, and it gets him to first. That right there, a good sign for a team that's had trouble converting third down so far this year. They're in the bottom 5 in the NFL, but they come through there.
Yeah, and I bet if we put our guy Marvin on the case and say, Marvin, tell us where they rank on third and what, right? I bet they're in the top 5 in the league on third and 5, third and 6, third and 7 or more, because that's how you end up not converting. Just too much yardage to pick up on third down.
Give him 9 there on the first down completion. That last catch short of the marker by just a yard leaves him with a very manageable 2nd and 1. Out of the gun, Watson. Trying to force it to Hopkins, and it's intercepted. Tre'Davious White with a pick. 20. And he will take this one home. It's a touchdown.
What you just saw there, first-round talent, second year, even more success. A pick 6 for a touchdown.
A great play. And it's tough for these guys, you've told me before, to adjust in the secondary as a first-year guy. So that sophomore season is big for them.
They really start to expand the playbook for them even more. Sometimes they dumb it down a little bit to make them comfortable year 1. By year 2, they should have all the nuances, and now they've adjusted to the speed of NFL play as well.
Showed right there. And now out comes Houston. Fresh off the pick 6, it's Watson. That complete to Lamar Miller. He finds an opening past the 40. And he's got it across the 50 to the 47-yard line. A really good pickup of 28 yards.
Sometimes the most effective routes are the ones that you run in the backyard. You probably ran them when you were 5 years old. How about a little curl there against zone? But the key to it is finding the open spots in the zone. How a linebacker or a defensive back will widen to give you space. Find that area and let your quarterback hit you.
Here's Watson. And incomplete on the deep ball.
This defense is not going to make it easy for you. They're a physical group, and we just saw it there on that play. He came in, made the contact, just as he's trying to haul it in.
They'll run with Foreman. And that play will go nowhere. Losing yardage back near midfield at the 49. He lost 2 there, and it's third down. The Texans on third down. They've converted just 2 for 6 thus far. This is third down and 12. Now Watson. Throw right side into the hands of Akins. And he'll go down shy of the 40 at the 41. It'll be a gain of 8, but it'll also lead to a fourth down. The Texans send the punter out as he's on for the 5th time here today. And he deserves a bronze leg as he gets this one away. And a fair catch called for and made just out. And now due to apparent time constraints, we fast forward to the beginning of the second half. So we have come upon halftime here in Week 17. The final 2 quarters of the NFL regular season are upon us as the second half of Week 17 is underway. This one fielded at the 5. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here at the 30-yard line. Out come the Jaguars now as he'll go on offense first here in this third quarter. This is sort of what you would call a put-away drive, isn't it? They score here, especially a touchdown. It's almost out of reach.
It certainly feels that way, and I think that they're going to call their plays accordingly because What you really want to do, even though you know the scoreboard is still up there and the game's going to go on, in fact, you can take the spirit away from another team. That their drive and will to come back and win can be taken with another score right here.
It's still third quarter, but you just get that feel.
Yeah, they're teetering right there on the brink, aren't they?
So the opening play of the drive goes backwards. Now they'll come up on 2nd and 12. They'll run it now out of the gun. And not much. Maybe a yard up to the 29.
I know the scouting report on him is that he doesn't possess the eye discipline to be an elite linebacker. And what that means is his ability to read, react, and make a play. But on that one, he looked like one of those guys.
The Jaguars on 3rd down. They've hit 2 for 4 thus far. This is 3rd and 11. To throw is Bortles. He's going to rifle one deep left side. And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up 4th down. You can tell they were hoping for a flag there offensively. Several on the sideline motioning. Hey, why not a penalty? Why not a penalty? What did you see?
Yeah, I think you've got to let them play, and the officials are instructed. If there's contact coming from both sides, no flag. Let them fight it out.
And forces 4th down. So here's the Texans offense now. They get set to start this 3rd quarter. These guys had to punt last time. It has not been a very fruitful game offensively thus far. They haven't even made a trip to the red zone.
And I know that everyone's going crazy on that sideline because that drives you berserk to come off the field, not really move the ball well. As you said, not even get to the red zone, let alone, not even put points on the board. They've got to just take a deep breath, relax, try and figure out what is working, and call more of that.
Protection certainly going to need to be a bit better here on 2nd and 16. Now contact up front as penalty markers come in. Who is this against? A free 5 yards as the defense jumps.
I know it's an anticipation game for them, but it's also a reaction game, and they reacted poorly on that one.
On 2nd down, here's Miller. And he'll be hit and dropped for a loss at the 5-yard line. And they'll lose a yard that time, and that's going to lead to a 3rd down.
But these guys are going to chop into that deficit. They got to do a much better job in the run game. Caught behind the line of scrimmage, no yardage to be found.
These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down. Throwing on 3rd down, Watson. He may try and run for this. Decent gain on the scramble to 6, but now it's 4th.
And they had an extra defensive back on the field on that play, and the coverage was excellent. He tried to pull it down and run for it, but they rallied to him and kept him short of a 1st down.
That's taken it around the 40. 12 yards on the return that time. And the Jaguars go on offense, 1st down and 10. Here comes the Jaguars offense as they get set here. This crew had to punt last time they had the ball, but when you've got a lead like this, you content to play the field position game?
You are to an extent, especially if you like your defense, because you have the lead, you've been controlling the game. But why put them in a tougher spot? You want to get out there and get something done on offense and maybe take command of this game yourself.
And that play will go nowhere. Losing yardage back near midfield at the 49. It's a loss of a yard there, and now 2nd down. A loss of a yard there to start out. That leads to a 2nd and 11. Now Bortles throwing on 2nd down. And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete.
I think he had to unload that one before he wanted to. He was right up in his grill. I think he was a dentist there without a license, don't you?
Just not enough time for the play to develop. Just lucky it wasn't a fumble, really. The Jaguars on third down. 2 for 5 to this point. This is 3rd and 11. Bortles now to throw. And this time he's got the hook up. It's complete. And the stop here will come at the 38-yard line. They'll get 11, but still a little short. 4th down. Field goal would have been a decent length at 55 yards. They keep the kicking unit on the sideline. They're going for it.
Green 80. Green 80.
Now they'll run it on the toss. And some room to work. Touchdown, Jaguars. Corey Grant, his 4th touchdown on the year. And the Jaguars add 6 to their lead. Always important to get the first score of the second half. Now you start to pull away a little bit and get some breathing room going.
And now we find out about the fortitude of the group that's behind, because they were counting on getting into the game a little bit more, right? Maybe they get the first score. That doesn't happen. It looks almost insurmountable, but it's not. Let's see how hard they play the rest of the game.
Here's Lambeau out to kick this one away. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. Heading out is the Texans offense as they get set to take over here. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means you're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of first downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Well, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here. Give them a couple on the catch. It's 2nd and 8.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And the second wave of tacklers is going to get him as they stop him behind the line. Now after the play, it looks like there's a Texan here slow to get up. And this is certainly not what you want to see in the final week of the year. We'll be back. These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down. To throw on 3rd down, Watson, and he's got a man. It's the tight end Howard, complete. And he's got daylight. It's a foot race. And he'll take this one in for a Texans touchdown. O.J. Howard, his 6th touchdown of the season. And the Texans cut into that lead. When they drew that up, I don't think they envisioned it ending in a house call. But he got it and took it all the way home.
Really impressive run after the catch, wasn't it? That was really special by him. But let's face it, in today's NFL, those tight ends are often former wide receivers or maybe even sometimes bigger running backs. They just put them in a position to get a great matchup and make plays like that.
This will be fielded at the 6. And he'll take this across the 25, a couple extra yards up to the 27-yard line. And out now comes Jacksonville as they get ready to go. And for them, a touchdown their last go-around. Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again.
And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked, but you have to be prepared for wrinkles and counters because you know they'll make some adjustments.
Bortles leads the Jags up 1st and 10 at their own 27.
Lucy.
A fake to Fournette. Now it's Bortles to throw. And the reception made by Dante Moncrief. Past the 20. 10. Touchdown. Jaguars. Dante Moncrief His 4th touchdown on the year. And the Jaguars add on to their lead. As a former DB, you might not like to see that, but from a wide receiver's perspective, those are the plays they dream of.
Correct on both counts, all right? Because once he took off, I mean, let's face it, that should have been done in Big Sky Country. Aren't any speed limits out there? And off he went. Glad I wasn't the one trying to chase him.
And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. And here comes the Texans now. I guess they have to feel a little gratified to at least get on the board last time, but still work to do.
No doubt about it. I wonder now if they're going to try to increase the urgency a little bit, maybe pump up the pace, maybe go 2-minute. Who knows? Let's see what they decide to do.
Caught left side Hopkins. And he'll get to the 29-yard line, brought down there. That throw good for 4. It's second down. 2nd and 6, just inside the 30. Now a run. This is Alfred Blue. Call it a gain of 7, and it gets him a new set of downs.
At this stage of the game, the run-pass numbers are a little bit out of whack because most of their yardage has come through the air. But in a sense, that just sets things up for big runs like that because the defense might be a little bit off balance. They pick up another first down with that run.
They go play action here on first down. And he can't find anywhere to go with it, and he goes down. Dante Fowler in there to drop him for his 5th sack of the year. So after the sack, a scenario you certainly don't work on too often. 2nd and 24. From the gun, here's Watson. Oh, the pressure too great, and he goes down once more. Yannick Ngakoue in there to get him, and that's sack number 18 for him on the year. Need something from deep in the bag of tricks here after 1st and 2nd down went backwards. It's 3rd and very long. A shotgun snap for Watson. And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete. We saw this a lot in the first half, and it continues. These receivers just not able to get much separation.
So that means they have to win the 50-50 balls. They've got to go up with the defender and find a way to start coming down with them.
And this time, contact and another incomplete pass. Nearly a huge return, as it is still a very good one. 24 yards. And this offense, they're going to have excellent field position. They take over with a 1st and 10 on the short side of the field. Now a play fake here on first down. Over the middle, hauled in by Sharp. And he goes down, but not before getting this inside the 25. A good pickup there of 20 yards.
The goal for any offense versus his own defense, find the holes where guys are available and put the ball on the receiver before any defender can step up and fill it.
They did it well there. Perfectly executed crossing route.
Green 80. Green 80. Green is up.
They'll run it now out of the gun. Open space inside the 10. And he takes it in. Touchdown, Jacksonville. Corey Grant with his 2nd touchdown of the game and 5th on the year. And the Jaguars add 6 to their lead. It's up and good, and they're in control now, 35-7. Here's Lambeau out to kick this one away. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Now the Texans offense, they head back out to do battle here. They have been struggling. I would imagine at halftime they went through some possible changes. Well, those changes aren't working, so now where do you go?
I think that now it's much more.
And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked off by the linebacker, Miles Jack. And they will take over at the 29-yard line. Well, when you start thinking of guys that are in the mix for Defensive Player of the Year, I think you use him as Exhibit A. Maybe he's not the leading guy right now, but he's at least on the periphery and deserves to be in the discussion.
And because of that, he's looking at a game today where in order to make that big move and maybe become the guy, he needs multiple takeaways, multiple big plays, things that get our attention and reverberate for weeks to come.
And he'll get this one down to about the 27. Just a yard on the first down carry, so it's 2nd and 9.
Well, we saw him there trying to get it to the outside, trying to get to the perimeter, but not a whole lot of room there. But there's got to be one positive to that. If you keep moving laterally, creases tend to develop as the game moves on, and they can run it back inside later.
380.
On 2nd down, here's Bortles. Open man right side is Shark. And taking it to the 15-yard line before he's brought down. The Jags picking up the first down there, a gain of 12.
I like watching the wide receiver screen because it's a real teamwork play. Because guess what? The guy catching the ball, he'll get all the credit. But how about the people up to block in front of him, either fellow receivers or offensive linemen? That makes that play a really nice timing play, and sometimes it can break big.
And they'll go ground game here with a tailback. And they get to him quickly here as he stopped right around the 13. Justin Reed, the safety, made the tackle.
Third quarter and you've got the lead. You're not ready to go into that 4-minute offense to close the game out, but a running game can really benefit your team right now.
Green 80. Green 80.
Now they'll run it on the toss. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. They'll wind up losing 3 yards here. And that's going to make it 3rd down and 10. They'll run it now out of the gun. No gain on the play there, and it'll bring up 4th down.
But it was stopped on that play. He's had plenty of carries all afternoon. Every now and then the defense is going to win one, but I don't think they'll shy away from handing it to him the rest of the game.
And Lambo will put this one through, and they're sitting pretty now as the lead grows even further. So it's 3 more points, and that widens this thing out even further here in the 4th.
And you know in this league, you can never have enough points, but this widens it out, as you said, and now it's all about ball control, isn't it?
And he's up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. And the Texans set to come onto the field. And last time wasn't pretty. 1 play and an interception. We'll see if they can do better.
I want to see if they want to go ahead and throw the ball again now on this drive after what happened on the last one. Throw it on the first play. Give the quarterback some confidence.
See what happens. Trying to shake off the interception from the last drive. He'll look to throw. Yannick Ngakoue in there for the sack, and he's closing in on that all-time record. That's number 19 on the year. Coming up now on a 2nd and 15 following that sack. Here's Watson. From the gun, he'll throw. He's got his tight end over the middle, O.J. Howard. And they work this well upfield across the 45. That goes for a gain of 31.
There will always be a place for methodically marching the ball downfield. But when you can pick it up in big chunks and strike like that and have explosive plays, that's often the difference in winning and losing. Those types of plays that can knock a defense off balance, that'll drive a team towards a victory.
And he'll be brought down right at midfield after a gain of only a couple.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
From the 50, it's Watson. Fuller brings it in over the middle. And he'll get this this one down near the 20-yard line, just shy of the 20. A really good pickup of 28 yards.
Of course, the catch was nice, but how about what happened after? Able to stay on his feet and gain all that additional yardage. So many of these slot guys, I think, have running back in their background.
Watson now perfect since the second half started. 7 of 7. It's 1st and 10. Watson now to throw. Over the middle, complete. That's Fuller. And they'll bring him down at the 13-yard line. Give him 9 there on the first down completion.
Nothing fancy on first down, but a very consistent type of a play. Hit that slant. A lot of people call it an extension of the running game, and it can be if that pass is completed. Because you hit a guy on the run like that, he often can go for big yardage.
Sets him up nicely for second down, staying ahead of schedule. It's an 8-yard pickup, and it leads to a 1st and goal.
Well, partner, I know this type of running back. I mean, this size, this intensity usually gets better as the game goes on. I can just tell you from experience, the first few quarters, oh, you're eager. You come running up there. I'm going to tackle this guy. By the 4th quarter, you're coming up.
Hammering for the goal line. He loses the football. And the Jags grab it. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
And with that kind of a deficit, you can't afford to make any kind of mistakes. But it's been pretty symptomatic of what we've seen all game with them, isn't it? Down this big in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, you'd say an afternoon to forget, absolutely.
Spread left, spread left, spread left. Green 80, green 80. He's fresh. He's checking fresh.
Now they'll run it on the toss. And he'll take this up to about the 7 or 8 yard line. A solid run on first down. Gain of 7 leaves him with a 2nd and 3.
Well, Brandon, pace comes into play now because they've got the advantage. They've got the football, but they've got to be very careful about what speed they're going to play. You know, my music teacher back in New Paltz, Mrs. Bythema Bagley, used to say, don't go prestissimo when you really want to go largo. And what she meant by that is don't go too fast when you really want to go at a nice, slow, deliberate pace.
I am speechless. I am without speech. Bortles to throw on second down. Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Picked off at his own 10. And this results in 6. Touchdown. This game's still fairly well in hand, but I think now you go conservative, don't you? Go into your shell and just run the football?
I think you have to, but you also have to tell your backs, make sure you're really protecting the football because you're going to run into a stacked defensive front, which is why they were throwing the football before, trying to make sure they just get their backs, really beat up in that situation. Now, good luck to them.
So they throw the pick 6. They'll get another shot at it now as this one's in the air. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. The Jaguars offense now heads back onto the field. There have been no struggles here for this crew. I mean, they were up double digits at halftime, and they've just expanded that here in the second half.
And it appears there are no answers from the defensive side. I think right now, if I'm the coordinator, if I'm down on the field, if I'm wearing a hat, I've already thrown it. If it's a visor, it's sailed. Right? My game plan is down by my feet right now because nothing I've drawn up appears to be working.
Well, he's going to have to find something right now to stop this offense. Space to maneuver at the 40. A big third down play there for the Jags. Give him 69 yards on the ground.
Do my eyes deceive me, or is he getting stronger as this game moves along?
Burst seems just as good here in the 4th as it was way back in the 1st, doesn't it?
I do believe someone put a lot of time in the offseason and continues to condition during the season in order to continue to carry the ball at this rate.
Green 80.
They'll try and run for it on 1st and goal. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. And now we'll get a timeout. Looks like we've got a Jaguar and some discomfort down there on the field. And in Week 17, let's hope this won't affect him for the playoffs. We'll step aside. From the 2 now, 2nd and goal.
Green 80. Green 80.
He'll get it up the middle, and he'll take this one in for a Jags touchdown. A great play there. His 4th touchdown on the year, and the Jaguars continue to roll.
Well, this game is definitely over, but we do know some people like to go ahead and continue to add to their score, don't we?
Yeah, I don't know that they need to add any more right now, though. I'm just starting to think about those dinner plans tonight, my friend.
Well, you and I will be thinking about dinner plans, but we also know they're playing people are thinking, how can I get some more scores for my fantasy, for other things? They're trying to figure that part out now.
By the way, last weekend we went sushi because that's what you wanted. We're going steak tonight.
I'm in.
All right. The Texans offense now, they get set to head back onto the field. And so close to hitting pay dirt last time, fumbling down near the goal line. Now, how does that affect their psyche this time around?
It's a tester, that's for sure, because to be that close and come away with no points is really disappointing, not just for the guys on offense, but the defensive players, too, who thought, hey, we're going to put some points up and have a little momentum going. They've got to find a way to just get it out of their minds, let it go,
short-term memory,
and move on to the next series.
One play has him up past the 40 already, and another 1st and 10.
Richmond.
Watson on 1st down. And it pops free. The collision there jarred the ball loose and brings up 2nd down. We have not seen a whole lot of wide-open receivers. Everything seemingly has been contested.
And that's another nice job there to force an incompletion. They've been very cohesive, knowing each other's moves all game long, and they've been on the spot just about every time.
And they've held them in check on the scoreboard. Back to the air, Watson on 2nd down. And it's knocked away and incomplete. He was trying to find O.J. Howard, and it's 3rd down.
This defense is continuing to contest every deep ball that is thrown downfield. And, look, it doesn't matter whether you're playing man or zone. Eventually, that becomes man-on-man, and you've got to trust yourself and go up at that moment of truth and make a play on the football.
And that will be incomplete as well.
I think he's a little trigger-happy right there, and it turned into an ill-advised throw into their zone.
Well, we know he has confidence. He'll throw it any place, anytime, anywhere. That time it fell incomplete. On 4th down, the punt team is on as this is sent away. And a nice special teams job here. This is going to be down inside the 10 at the 7-yard line. And out now comes Jacksonville as they get ready to go. We've got a lopsided game here. I don't know, Charles, what does the handbook say that we discuss when we've got a game like this in the 4th quarter?
Hold on a second. Let me thumb to the proper page on that. Know what it says?
What?
Let's discuss how we got here. This is a dominant performance, where they took control of this game, how they've managed to keep control of this game, and then we go ahead and think about how we're going to leave here and get to the airport. In a lopsided blowout, the roads are usually open.
A 3-yard loss to start the drive. They'll look to make that up and then some on 2nd and 13. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll take this up to about the 7 or 8-yard line. Give him 4 on the carry there, but that only takes them back to where they started. 3rd and 10.
When you find that kind of yardage, you couldn't be more confident as a ball carrier. And guess what? You're going to go back and tell your offensive coordinator, I'd like to keep carrying it, thank you.
Green 80.
Now flags will come in. I think this one's going to be on the defense for jumping. So a jump there defensively.
And it's a killer. Watch the football. Don't move across the line of scrimmage until the ball moves.
Green 80.
On 3rd down. That's Grant. Call it a gain of 3, and it'll bring up 4th down.
So where'd all that running room that he had in the first half go? Because it looks like it's drying up a little bit here. Someone made some adjustments, it appears, at least on this drive.
Time for a break. Back to finish it off on EA Sports after this. He gets this one away, and boy, it's another boomer. Ellington now to return it. A good return there, 17 yards. And the Texans will take over with a 1st and 10. The Texans offense now, they get set to head back on the field here. They are just obviously getting shellacked here in this one, Charles. What's the message if you're a coach for this final drive in a lopsided game like this?
For a lot of coaches,
be honest.
Don't forget today. Don't forget what has happened out here.
Use that as ammo going forward.
Exactly. Take a great look at that scoreboard. Realize how
pressure, and he's going to be taken down. They sack him back right around the 44. Telvin Smith coming in hard on the blitz. He gets him down for a loss of 4. So after the sack, here's 2nd and 14. Watson now, operating from the gun, forced out to his left, and he'll be brought down at the 48-yard line. Give him 7 there on the tuck and run, and they're in better shape now for 3rd. I thought they were going to sack him there like they did on 1st down. Great coverage, but he found a way to move with his legs.
Yeah, his ability to take off, not only did he get some yardage back, he got a little bit extra. Really helps him on 3rd down, makes it manageable now.
Out to the left there and complete to Howard. They get 9 yards there, and they get a 1st down.
One of the advantages of zone defense, as I remember it, is being able to see the play develop in front of you. One of the disadvantages, when they find those levels where they can hit you with it. Sometimes behind the corner and in front of the safety, it makes it tough to defend.
Hopkins on the grab over the middle. And he's going to get this inside the 30.
I think it all came together there. In-breaking route, drove it with excellent pace. Money throw right there to move the sticks.
On 1st down, it's Watson. Throw left side complete. That's Hopkins. And down inside the 15 he goes. Back-to-back nice gains. That one for 14 yards and another 1st.
Black, got it out, got it. Reset, reset, reset.
And they'll go on the ground. And they're going to lose some on this play. Being knocked back to the 18. It's a loss of 4 there, bringing up 2nd down.
Sometimes play calls boil down to philosophy. You know your favorite.
And he's going to be intercepted a 3rd time. Picked off by Barry Church. It's a foot race. The 20, 10, 5, and they will score. It's a Jacksonville touchdown. Defensively, they've had their way in this one. That pick 6 makes that scoreboard even more lopsided.
I remember talking with a guy in the league, and I said, what do you do when the game's like this? You know, it's pretty much over. You ready to go to the bench and hang out? He said, oh, heck no. I want to stay on the field. I might get some stats. I might get a pick or 2.
You like being out there at the end of these wide margins.
When they have to throw it, that gives you more opportunities to go get it.
So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick 6. And now the kick is away. Now it's Ellington to return.